Welcome to this free immigration help channel. In this video I will show you step-by-step instructions on how to fill out and file the form I-539, which is the application to extend or change non-immigrant status. Basically, if you want to extend your non-immigrant visa or if you want to change it from one non-immigrant to another non-immigrant status, that's the video for you. So as always, as you can see, I have the official US Citizenship and Immigration Services website open in front of me, USCIS.gov. This is the official source and I use it in all the videos that I make on this channel. I don't use the third-party websites, I don't use attorney websites, I don't use the forums, just USCIS.gov, sometimes the Department of State website, but always the official government sources. Now, I am not an immigration attorney myself. This is not a legal advice. So with that being said, let's get into it. So we're going to navigate to the form itself. We're going to click on Forms right here at the very top of the navigation menu. And then we're going to click on the very first one, All Forms. That will give you all of the forms that are available from USCIS. And we're going to scroll down. They're in numerical order, alphabetical and numerical order. 539, there we go, application to extend, change non-immigrant status. Now, the very first thing you notice, and I'm going to mention it right away, is that there is an option to file this form online. Now, in this video, I will be showing you obviously the paper application, which is going to be exactly the same as the online application. Is going to be the same information, but I highly recommend you fill out the form online. And the reason for that is because it saves a lot of time. It avoids possible mistakes that you can make in the paper application, and it really, whenever it comes to timelines, it is much faster because there is no mailing the application sitting in the post office, in a PO box, not the post office, and then immigration picking it up, reviewing it. There's all of this is erased with the online application, so I definitely recommend you do that. Okay, further you see there are alerts, and these are going to be different depending on when you are watching this video. For example, a few months down the road there might be a new alert. I definitely highly recommend reading through these just to make sure that there's nothing that is applicable specifically to you. Like for example, as of April 1st, 2022, you can no longer combine the fees if you're filing multiple applications at the same time. Before you could do that, now USCIS doesn't want that. They want you to file separate checks for each application. There's also a new policy manual update for F1 students. Again, if you're an F1 student or you're changing your non-immigrant status to F1 student, that might be applicable to you. Take a look, read through it. Also, there's an alert regarding, I guess, people not bringing the appointment notices to the actual appointments. Some good word of advice: definitely bring those to the biometrics appointment. Very important. Okay, so there are a few. We're gonna skip this first part. There are a few exceptions that do not allow, if you are in this. If this is the visa that you have, you are not able to file this petition. So keep that in mind if you're in the E, which is a principal treaty, traders, investors. There's also H1. H is if you're work visa related, then you will have to fill out this form I-129. If you're interested, I'll make a separate video on how to fill out that form. Let me know in the comments below. L1, O1, also similar to immigrant workers kind of qualifications. So a few of them. So if you're any of this form is not for you. Keep that in mind. All right, moving further, we have a few drop downs here. We will start with the forms and documents. So I'll show you how to fill out the application first, and then we will talk about where to file if you are deciding to file this by mail, or there's another reason why you would have to file this form by mail, and let's get into it, and then we will talk about the filing fee and a few options that you have with the filing fee. Okay, so let's talk about the two different forms within the form I-539. You will see that there's a I-539, the regular one. This is the one I'll show you how to fill out, and then there's also form I-539A. Now, I-539A is for people who are filing for the extension of stay or the change of non-immigrant status, multiple applications. So for example, let's say I am, US citizen, inviting my parents, my mom and dad, to come and visit me. So I send them the invitation letter, they go to the embassy, they get the visas, B1, B2 visas, which is the visitor for pleasure, visitor for business, which most of the times they give them combined. So they come here on these, both of them, my dad and my mom, they come to the United States with these non-immigrant visas. They are given, let's say, these visas when they come here, the stay, the duration of stay that is given in the airport is 6 months. But they stay here for 5 months and something happened. Maybe there was an emergency. Maybe there was, I don't know, during the whole pandemic, the airports were closed. People were not able to fly. So now both my mom and my dad, they realize that they will have to stay here longer than those 6 months that they've been given. So they have to file for the extension of stay. But instead of filing 2 separate applications and paying for both of the separate applications, separate fees, you can combine into one application and pay only one fee for both people, because it's a family, Obviously, it's not going to be like 2 random people that are friends decide to file application together. That makes no sense. But in this example that I gave you, yes, you can definitely do something like this and file the combined application for both. And so they file the form I-539A. That is the only exception I would say you would have to file by mail, because these are not available online. This you can only currently file by mail. Hopefully USCIS will make an exception and add the online feature to file this form online, but currently it's only by mail. So I have the I-539 regular open in front of me, and I will also open the instruction. Now there are instructions for both I-539 and I-539A. Whichever you're filling out, you can watch this video for both. It doesn't matter which one you're filling out. If you are, by the end of this video, if you're filling out I-539A and you still have questions, just ask them in the comments below, and I go every week, probably twice a week, I go through all of the comments that I have and answer them one by one in the video. And these videos are called Answering Your Immigration Questions, and it goes by volumes. Right now the most recent volume is volume 17. But I highly recommend opening up the instructions. This is what they look like. There's quite a lot of pages, almost 20 pages, 17 pages in this one. Read through the whole thing just to be familiar with this process. If you have any questions, you can definitely find the answers here. You can ask them in the comments below, but just reading through it, it will help you a lot to understand how this process works, what USCIS expects from you. You will just be better informed, and being better informed is what helps us, immigrants, to stay on top of our immigration cases and not get into any confusion, into any trouble. So I have the application I-539 open in front of me. Let's start filling it out. The very first thing you will see is that there is for USCIS use only, first part right here. Don't fill out, that's the only thing that you will leave blank in this application. Now this is where you start here and below. So in this example we're going to use John Doe. I am going to be John Doe, who is from Brazil, and he came here on visitor visa. He stayed here for what, 5 months, and now his duration of stay is expiring, so he wants to stay here longer, so he's filing this form. So obviously your full name, family name, given name, Doe, John. Middle name, if you have middle name, you put it in. If you don't have the middle name, you put not applicable. And with that, I'm gonna say, don't leave any blank spaces. Apart from this top part right here, everything else, all the fields, if it's not applicable to you, you put not applicable. For example, alien registration number. John Doe, he just came here as a visitor, as a visitor for pleasure, as a tourist. So he doesn't have an immigration case going for him. He's not an immigrant, so he doesn't have the alien registration number. We don't leave it blank, we say none. USCIS online account number. If you have it, you put it in there. And usually when you register for USCIS online account, when you're filling out the application online, you have to register for USCIS online account. Sometimes, I don't know what it depends on, but sometimes USCIS, they send you automatically an email with your online account number. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes people just can never find it. If that's the case for you, again, just put none. That's fine. US mailing address, this is where you're getting your mail. Makes sense. US physical address, this is where you actually live. So if it's two different addresses, put two different addresses. If it's the same, put the same addresses in both. Other information about you: country of birth, country of citizenship or nationality, date of birth, US social security number. If you have it, put it in. If you don't have it, just say none. Date of last arrival into the United States. Okay, last arrival, that is, like most recent one that just happened. Provide information about your most recent entry into the United States. Form I-94, arrival departure record number. Everyone who enters the United States, they have that record. It used to be on paper, now it is online, so some people are having trouble retrieving that record. I've done a video on this channel, it's uploaded here, how to get that I-94 and what happens if you are not able to get it. How to actually contact the Customs and Border Protection and how to get help from them to obtain that number. As you can see here in this application, they want it. So if you need it and if you don't have it, just pause the video and find the video that I made, and it explains which website you need to go and what information you need to fill out to get that I-94. Passport number, still keep on going. Part 1, information about you. Travel document, if you have any. If you don't have any, just say not applicable. Country of passport or travel document issuance, makes sense. Passport or travel document expiration date. Current immigration status. In our example, John Doe, he's, like I said, B1, B2. So you're scrolling down in this drop down. Now in online application, you're probably going to have a drop down as well. This takes forever, but I think maybe B. Aha, there we go. Okay, perfect. Or maybe there's a combined B1, B2, B1, B2. No, they're separately. So either B1 or B2. It doesn't really matter, but it will make sense to USCIS regardless. Expiration date. All right, that's expiration date of the passport. No, actually, no, never mind. That's the expiration date of your current non-immigrant status. Select this box if you were granted duration of status. If yes, you select it. If not, then you skip it. Part 2, application type. Now here, there are a couple of things, a couple of options for you. This one's a pretty important part. And I'm applying for, right? So you have few options. You have the reinstatement to student status, which is very, very specific, very narrow. There's an extension of stay in my current status, which is what we are doing. And there's also a change of status. So let's say if John Doe wanted to change from B1 to, say, student, that's what he would select, change of status. New status effective date, that is if there is a change of status. If not, then just leave it blank. When you print out the application, go back with black ink and put not applicable. Some of these, as you can see, the white spaces, you can't fill them out in a paper application like that. In gray, you can. Now, with the online application, you don't have to worry about leaving those blank fields. That's fine, it doesn't matter because it's all done electronically. So there is no room for anyone to get in and put whatever they want to, like with the paper application. So with online application, what I'm saying with this, fill out the blank spaces, you don't have to worry about it, just with the paper application. To change of status, I'm requesting is, again, which status, this is not applicable for us. I am the only applicant, which is going to be, in our case, that's going to be the case. Members of my family are filing this application with me. If this is the case, then it's going to be I-539A. All right, total number of people, including me, in the application is complete the supplement for each co-applicant. All right, so you will put the number here, and I'm actually going to demonstrate the form I-539A just really quickly, so you are familiar with it. And as you can see, it looks practically exactly the same. There is information about the person filing form I-539, so it's going to be the main kind of the applicant, right? Information about you, okay, that's for each additional applicant who's applying, and that's really it. That's it. That's really all you're filling out here. So you're putting in part 1 the main person on I-539A. So let's say my dad, in the example that I gave you, he's the main person applying for the extension. He is on I-539. He mentions on the I-539 that it's not just him, but he is also members of the family. And the total number of people, including me, so including my dad and my mom, is 2. Right? But I can't type it in here. I'll have to print it out and put it in with black ink. So for my mom now, I'm filling out the I-539A, where here it says the information about the person filing form I-539. It's going to be my dad, and then information about you is going to be my mom, and then her information, and then her signatures. So as you can see, I-539A, it's very, very simple. It's very, it's short. Just a few basic things, because it's just really a supplement form. Okay, so hopefully now you know also how to file the I-539A. But if you really want a specific video on that, let me know in the comments below and I'll make it. Okay, processing information, part 3, we're moving further. We request that our current or requested status be extended until, this is the date until you want your status. So for example, if my mom and dad in my example, let's say, there's 1 month left for them, they can stay here, and they think they want another 2 months. So you can request an additional 3 months if you know that you're going to be here for another 2 months, just to give you an extra 1 month just in case. But with all of that being said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you put in here, because most of the time that extension, that extended status is given for 6 months. So keep that in mind. Is this application based on extension or change of status already granted to your spouse, child, or parent? If yes, yes. If no, no. If you answered yes, then you'll have to put the receipt number from USCIS for that previous application. Is this application based on separate petition or application to provide your spouse, child, or parent an extension or change of status? Again, if it's yes, yes. If no, then just no. Moving further, we get first and last name of petitioner or applicant, if there is a separate one, and then the date it was filed. In our case, this is if the petition or applicant is pending with USCIS, also provide the following information. In this case, in our John Doe, is going to be not applicable, not applicable. All right, additional information about the applicant. Provide your current passport information. So it's going to be, again, passport number, which we entered. If it was any changes, then obviously you'll put the updated one, but most likely it's going to be exactly the same. Country of passport issuance, and then the passport expiration date. There's a physical address abroad. All right, so that's your foreign physical address. There's a few yes or no questions in the part 4. Are you any person included the application, an applicant for an immigrant visa? Have your immigrant petition ever been filed? So if there's any immigration involved, right? Were there any torture, killing, horrible things that you've done? Hopefully all of this is no, right? Have you ever or any other person served in, been a member of, assisted in military unit, worked, volunteered, or otherwise served in any prison, jail, right? So you just go through, you read all these questions, and you answer whether yes or no. Okay, moving further, the very last part, for the most part, is a part 5, which is the application statement, contact information, declaration, certification, and signature. So basically you're saying that here I can read English myself, I filled this form myself, or somebody was translating it for me, or somebody prepared this form for me. So you're gonna put your daytime phone number, your mobile phone number. I would recommend putting 2 different ones just in case. And then the email address, then you'll have to print out and sign. Obviously online application, it will just be a digital signature. Date of signature, make sure you follow the right format. And then if there is interpreter contact information, you can put it here. If not, just put not applicable, not applicable, not applicable, not applicable. You get the point. Throughout the whole thing, you put not applicable, because the reason for that is I've seen a lot of applications. A lot of applications, paper applications, come back, sent back by USCIS to the person who sent this application, saying that, hey, we did not accept this application. You have to go through your application and fill out all the blank spaces, put either not applicable or none. So these instructions do not come from me. These instructions, they come from USCIS. I am thinking the reason for that is because they don't want to leave any blank spaces so that someone can put in whatever information they want to avoid this kind of stuff happening. They say that, in advance, kind of like if you're sending a blank check, if you don't want somebody to fill it out and cash it for you, you put void, right, on the check, and then nobody can do that. Kind of similar to that, right? If the blank spaces, you want to make sure that that's it. This blank space cannot be used for something, for some other information. And the very last thing you'll see, additional information, part 8. If there is anything else, let's say you're filling out some kind of information, very slim chance that you're gonna have it here. But yes, for example, let's say you're filling out these additional, you're going through these questions, right? And one of them you answered yes. Have you or any other person included in this application been employed in the United States since last admitted or granted an extension? Let's say you say yes, okay? If you said yes, you will have to provide information on why, how, because on a non-immigrant status, especially if you're like B1, B2 non-immigrant status, you cannot legally work in the United States. And that's why they want you to explain that. So you will go and let's say this is, part 4, 14. So part 4, question 14. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna go part number, it's gonna be 4, item 14, and page, I didn't check the page, let me see the page. Page is 3. So page number 3, part 4, item number 14. And here you type in your explanation. I had this different status and I was working, whatever the explanation is. This is where you do this explanation. Obviously fill out your information here as well once you print it out, if you're doing the mail form. But that's really it. Whenever it comes to the application to extend or change non-immigrant status, and also doing multiple people, if you've seen the I-539, I'll put all these links in the description below so you can quickly access to them. Now, let's talk about the fee. Like I said, there is a fee. It's not a free application. It is currently $370. Keep in mind, you most likely will have to pay additional $85 for yourself and additional applicants if you have any additional applicants. So $85 for each, because this is a biometrics fee where you have to go, you have to do the fingerprint, you have to do the picture, all that good stuff. So $370 for the application, $85 for your biometric fee, and if there is any additional applicant, $85 for each additional applicant. So if there's like, in case of my mom and dad, for example, if I'm filing for them, I'm paying only one $370 fee instead of 2, which is obviously, huge savings. But keep in mind, I have done a video on fee waiver, USCIS fee waiver, on how to fill it out, on how to file it. So if you're experiencing financial hardship or some kind of situation, in that video, I explain it in great detail. So you can file that and possibly not pay anything at all and file this for free. So make sure to check out that video as well. Now, if you're filing the paper application, in case if you decided to file paper application for whatever reason, or you're filing it for multiple people, this is where you're going to be filing it. I'm going to show it to you, the direct filing addresses for the form I-539. Here we go, and you will see there are a few different drop downs for different visa statuses. So let's see what we need. Non-immigrants and their dependents. There's also filing form I-539 with principal form I-129. That's for non-immigrant worker. That's not for us. This is all the work visas. Residents of Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Very specific. Extension of stay for T non-immigrant status, U, V, change of status, dependent spouse, principal, extension of stay for AG5, NATO, very specific, all other form I-539 filers. So in our case, it's non-immigrants and their dependents. be non-immigrants and their dependents. Perfect. This is it. Here we go. So we are filing it to, looks like Dallas, Texas, or Louisville, Texas. So very first address, you will see this is specifically for USPS, which is the PO box. I recommend sending your application, if you're mailing your application, I recommend sending it with USPS. But if you really want to send it with a courier, FedEx, UPS, DHL, this is the address that you're sending. So keep that in mind. Depending on which mailing service you're using, you will be doing either PO box or the actual I guess they have a suite number, so I guess that's their like office or something. And that's for BFJM. But again, whatever is applicable to you, this is where you can find all of the addresses. Let's say if you're V non-immigrant, you'll have a separate one going to Chicago. Okay, so it's completely different. So make sure to verify which one you are filing. Now, going back to this page, there are a few other things that you will find, and I want you to recommend you verifying. Edition date. Make sure, if you're watching this video, 6 months, a year down the road, make sure you verify the edition date. As of right now, the most recent edition was done on May 31st, 2022. Okay, so, if you're watching this video and, the edition date is later than this date, then obviously there were some changes that was made. I will try to stay on top of these videos and provide updated videos for filing these forms, just in case, but something for you to keep in mind. If you want a checklist for the initial evidence, again, you can definitely find it here as well. Again, for you see B1, B2, for example, the only thing that we need is a written statement. Now with the written statement, I will probably make a separate video on how to write that written statement, but basically you are writing essay format, right? Personal statement saying that, hey, I am, your name obviously, John Doe, came here from Brazil with this status, non-immigrant, I stayed here, I did this, I did that, I was supposed to leave on this date, but unfortunately this and this happened that caused me to stay here longer, and that is why I'm asking for the extension of stay. So something along those lines. Very straightforward, not too long, 1 maybe 2 pages. You don't have to go too long about it. Just 1 page is fine, as long as it contains all the information and as long as it explains the reasoning, and the reasoning is actually legitimate behind you asking for that extension. But again, this is specifically for B1, B2. Whatever you're based on, J1, let's see, maybe it's something different. Yeah, you see, for J1 exchange visitor, it's DS219 that is required. So again, if you have any questions regarding any of this stuff, just drop your question in the comments below. And like I said, I make these videos going through all of the comments and answering one by one. At least I try to do it twice a week now. So if you post your question today, I'll probably answer it within the next few days, hopefully. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. I wanted to say, I usually say it in the beginning, but I didn't say it in the beginning of this video. Thank you very much everyone who's supporting this channel. To the members of this channel, it really does help me make more content and obviously help more people with these applications and stuff like this. If you are looking to support this channel, you can do it using the super thanks feature in this video, and also you can consider joining the membership of this channel. There are different tiers that you can select, and whatever it is that you're selecting, you're supporting this channel, you're supporting my work, and hopefully helping other people get that information through the complicated process of immigration. And it's not that complicated if you actually have that kind of navigation for yourself on how to do it. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. As always, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.